more moves are imminent as following the Lakers signing DeAndre Ayton to a deal. A new report has dropped revealing that more moves are incoming. We're going to break down these new reports, discuss what it means going forward following the Lakers taking care of their biggest problem at center. Stay tuned for all that in this episode, as well as a few other updates, folks. A ton to go over today, but before we get into it, you guys have been absolute beasts with the support lately, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed, make sure to hit that button. Your guys' support's been unbelievable. We're inching closer and closer to 20,000 subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to go over today, and obviously, the Lakers signed DeAndre Ayton. I had a video about 20 minutes before it was made official by Shams, revealing that, of course, Ayton is going to sign. We also have some details surrounding that contract. You're going to want to stay tuned till the end of the video because some interesting, unique aspects of the deal here. But, folks, more moves are incoming, and they're going to come in the form of a trade and free agency, as multiple new reports have dropped, revealing some big information. And let's dive right into it right now. So obviously, Ayton signed and his contract has been made official. So it is a 2-year, $16 million deal with a player option in the second year per Brett Siegel. Ayton also makes $25 million from the Blazers from their buyout. So Ayton is getting paid big, of course, not from the Lakers, but from the Portland Trail Blazers who bought him out. But he signs a 2-year deal with a player option on the second year. So if things go perfectly, he loves it in LA. He'll either opt out and get an extended contract either with LA or another team, or he can, of course, opt in if things don't really go well with the Lakers. And of course, his work ethic have been the biggest problem here. But the financials are very important as it pertains to the next move. Now, Lakers, they used up their full mid-level exception for this signing. They use it up in its entirety. Again, $16.6 million deal. So it hits the books for 2025, 2026, and 2026, 2027 with a player option in year 2. Now, what this means going forward, shout out to Gosse here. The Los Angeles Lakers salary cap and apron situation after using their MLE on Ayton and Jake LaRavia. They still have $5.1 million in their biannual exception available and an open roster spot. And then a report has dropped right here from Sam Quinn. This leaves the Lakers their $5.1 million annual exception. DeAnthony Melton is the name that seems to come up most frequently, but he'll surely have other interests from contenders and the Warriors most notably. And DeAnthony Melton's the player we're going to be talking about today because moments ago, as of the time of recording, Jake Fisher came out and said the Lakers are heavily monitoring and pursuing DeAnthony Melton in free agency. And of course, the Lakers, even with free agency, they would still, even though they have one roster spot open, they would still be able to go ahead and make a trade for a point of attack defender or whoever else they want to get, depending on who they shore up in their free agency, because it is a very interesting, option here, DeAnthony Melton. And it would be an absolute robbery, a steal if they're able to get Melton. But more moves are coming, folks. And following this report being made official by Shams himself, and Shams came out and said also that the Lakers are not done making moves here. There is a lot of chatter about DeAnthony Melton. We'll dive into him in a minute. But again, $8.3 million. That's what their MLE was. They used most of it all of it rather, for Jake LaRavia and DeAndre Ayton. And the Pacers were reportedly heavily involved in it as well. But Jake Fisher also, 15 minutes ago, the chat I'm seeing is talking about DeAnthony Melton, and I think he's still an option for the Lakers as well. And let's dive into the player that DeAnthony Melton is, because he is an extremely intriguing option, right? Just an extremely valuable player when healthy. You look at last year with the Warriors, he was supposed to be one of their big additions. He played 6 games, went out with a pretty severe injury, missed the entirety of the year, finished averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists a game. But you look at some of the previous years, most notably with Memphis, his last year in Memphis rather, where he was a 6th man of the year finalist, put up 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He is a 3-and-D player. He is very good on the ball as a defender, really good at stealing, of course. He's averaging almost 2 steals a game. But you look at his field goal percentage, you look at his 3-point shooting, like he's not going to be a super efficient guy from the field, but he's going to shoot a lot of threes, averaging over 5 threes a game for the past 4 seasons. And he's an absolute beast. I am extremely high on DeAnthony Melton, just like I was extremely high on DeAndre Ayton like a month ago when I made the first video saying the Lakers should pursue him via trade. They lucked out a little bit. They were able to get him now via free agency in, following him clearing waivers. So it all worked out for DeAndre Ayton. But for DeAnthony Melton, you look at this team, it now becomes very, very interesting. And multiple moves, of course, are going to be on the horizon as well. Reports are also dropping that they are looking for a backup center as well, which we'll have a video coming out on later. Nick Richards is a name that continues to come to mind here, folks. But for DeAnthony Melton, it is a very strong possibility that they end up pursuing him. Now, he is a free agent, and he would fit in with this team beautifully. So you can replace now the center Maxi Kleber with DeAndre Ayton, Luka, Reaves, Rui, LeBron, and Ayton. That is your starting 5. And it is a pretty good one. You have, floor spacing all across the way, besides Ayton from the three-point line. But even then, he's, shown an ability to shoot a little bit. Rui, an elite three-point shooter. Awesome Reaves, very solid. Your bench is where you need some work, and some reports have come out about Adu Thiero, because of an injury, missing time and not going to be playing in the summer league. So that's a very unfortunate update there. They need some more bench pieces. And if you add DeAnthony Melton to the squad, you're looking then at a very solid a very solid lineup. Again, someone who shoots great from three, is a very good defender. And you compare that to some of the other free agents that are available. I don't think there's many other out there, free agents that is, that the Lakers are going to be pursuing, aside from DeAnthony Melton, because I think for any other move they're going to make at the center position, like, they still do need a backup center pretty badly, unless they either bring back Jackson Hayes or rely on Maxi Kleber, which I don't think is going to be the case at all. And again, reports from Legion Hoops literally dropped minutes ago as well, saying that they are trying to acquire a backup center via trade as well. I think Nick Richards is the guy to watch. We'll have another video coming on that later this evening. But for now, for DeAnthony Melton, makes all the sense in the world here. And you look at some of the, expiring assets. And again, if you get DeAnthony Melton, that is once again a free agent signing. Feel free to pause and have a look here at the full free agent list. There is some decent ones. Of course, this isn't fully up to date yet. This was tweeted July 1st, so yesterday. So I believe Spencer Dinwiddie signed in between this time. Maybe Trey Mann as well. But regardless of that, there's still a lot of guys remaining. And I think out of these lists, I mean, you look at guys like Cam Reddish, of course, not going to bring him back. And you think about him, like, Melton's averaged 10 points a game every single season, when healthy, at least, since 2021. And I think with the Lakers, the floor spacing they provide, you then have a bench unit of, DeAnthony Melton, maybe even Gabe Vincent in there a little bit. Then you have DeAndre Ayton, who can play some five. Like, for the first time, the Lakers will have a center since Anthony Davis, of course. But I'm saying in the Luka era with the Lakers, a center that can actually hold his own when Luka's not on the floor. And maybe they have Reaves running the point guard with the second unit, which we've seen a lot last year, but they had no other offense. If LeBron and Luka were out, they really, JJ had to play them together because there was minimal to no offense out there. You'd be relying on Rui Hachimura, pull up middies, Rui Hachimura, corner threes, Rui Hachimura, post fades. Would never happen. But regardless, you kind of get my point now. And with the way that their team looks, they still have spots available. And again, the mid-level or the biannual exception here would be what you'd use to get DeAnthony Melton. Then you go ahead and make another move following the acquisition. Again, you can see from Shams here, he agreed to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers. My video came out right before, Shams came out and said it, because Mark Stein said it. And it's very interesting, right? And again, they have a lot of assets they can use in trade. So I would expect another move to come very, very soon. I think it's probably gonna take a little bit longer for them to figure out their backup center spot. I think that will come via trade. Probably Knecht in a first will be dangled in these talks, not necessarily for a backup center, but for somebody else. And then, of course, they can go ahead and get DeAnthony Melton to add to this squad. And folks, it is an exciting team now. I know some of you aren't super excited for DeAndre Ayton. I'm excited for DeAndre Ayton personally. I think he's going to thrive here. Of course, work ethic is the biggest question mark, and I think JJ Redick, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, everybody involved will help him propel to being a star. But that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Cheers.